Hi, aviation operations students. This is Tori. She's one of my past students, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her background, how she got interested in aviation, um, what she did to get where she is, and where that's taken her now. Tori, welcome.
Thank you. As mentioned, my name is Tori Gandia. I am originally from Dublin, Ireland. I moved to the US 9 years ago in pursuit of an aviation career. We don't have much opportunities over in Ireland in the industry, so I thought it was best for me to come here and avail of all your wonderful opportunities. I traveled around America for a little bit. I ended up in Great Falls, Montana, and I'd always wanted to be a pilot, and I discovered while I was there visiting friends that they were actually offering an aviation program in Bozeman. I had no education, I had no GEDs or anything, so I kind of had to do a lot of research and figure out how to get to that point. I started by going to the Great Falls Adult Education Program in Great Falls. I spent 2 years there just doing prerequisites and getting my high sets on. And then in order for me to transfer to Bozeman, I had to do an additional 2 years to get the requirements needed to actually go to a 2-year college program out there. And then before I knew it, I was on my way out to Bozeman and I started into the Gallatin Aviation program. There was a lot of stuff in between, of course, but I completed my private and my instrument with Summit. I was financing my own flight training, so I was working 2 full-time jobs as well as going to school full-time and taking care of myself, as all my family are still in Ireland. It was very challenging too, especially in Montana. There's not a lot of jobs that can really accommodate in paying for flight training. So I made a decision to move out of state, where I got a job as a ramp manager for Alaska Airlines at DFW Airport in Texas, which is where I am now. So I started working another 2 jobs down here, fueling jets, working the line. Best thing I ever done, because I gained so much experience being around pilots, flying in on a daily basis, different kinds of aircraft, being exposed to all different kinds of situations, pilots talking about emergencies. So it's something I really recommend to new pilots is to get that experience on the ramp around airplanes. And the pilots are usually really happy to help out with questions and stuff. You know, I was that annoying person who would run out and ask them silly questions. There's no such thing as one, but so I ended up completing my training here in Texas. I had to take some time off in between all my certificates to save. So it took me about 4 years to complete everything total. That includes all the way up to my multi-engine, which I completed last. The route I took was I got my single engine commercial first, and then I got my CFI. So I was able to start teaching and building time. And then later on, I went and got my multi. That way I was kind of being more proactive, and rather than taking another year off to save for my multi, I was already flight instructing by the time I got it. Now I think I got about a year of flight instructing under my belt. I started to teach aerobatics a little bit on the side. I got that opportunity to do so for a little while. And then I bumped into people on the ground. I had 250 hours at the time, and I was fueling their jets out at Dallas Love Field when I started to work the line as signature there. And I was pushing and begging them from the day I met them to let me fly their jets for them. So when I hit about 600 hours, a gentleman by the name of Randy took me under his belt, and I voluntarily started flying a CJ3. It's a single pilot airplane, so he was okay with me just riding along to get the experience. I ended up quitting both of my jobs and driving Uber for a year and a half, and flew that jet for free just to get some jet time and some experience under my belt. And it was challenging. I wasn't making a lot of money. I was flying maybe once or twice a week, but later on that time really stood to me, because at 800 hours, I got my first jet job flying a Citation 10. So that's just kind of an example. Sometimes you have to make those sacrifices in this industry. Although it might suck at the moment, it pays dividends later on in your career. And from there, things just kind of started exploding. I flew that jet for 11 months. Sadly got laid off due to COVID. But since flying that CJ3, I started to build up a lot of clientele in the contract world under Part 91. I was able to fly for people that would pay me on a daily basis. And then I slowly started adding type ratings to my certificate as people started to use me for their operations. So I was doing it on my off days of flying the 10 too. So things really started to pick up. It was a very slow process, but you know, it just takes time. So since losing my job on the 10, I have been flying solely contract, and that's gone really well for me. It's just very inconsistent, which I like a little bit of stability and some kind of a schedule. So I've been doing that since last September when I did get laid off, and I've been flying a Hawker 800, a Citation 650, and I just upgraded to captain on the Citation 500s. So that's been keeping me busy. But like I said, very inconsistent, the contract world. So I just recently got new employment as of yesterday, actually, with a Part 135 company based in Florida. So I'm very excited to be going back to full-time employment with a company, especially during these times. I'm very grateful. So that just kind of sums up where I'm at now. You know, there's lots of in between stuff, but just to keep it kind of somewhat short and sweet. So
if I can ask you about flying charter, can you give me couple of the upsides and a couple of the downsides to it?
Yeah, you know, it's for a certain kind of personality. It doesn't suit some people. The upsides are, for me personally, I like the unknown of where we're going to go. You just don't know where you're going to end up. And we get to go some really awesome places that airlines wouldn't get to go. And we get to see some really crazy stuff like would blow your mind. You know what I mean? We have a lot of more flexibility of where we can and can't go. And then you also have the option of flying all different kinds of jets. So that would be definitely the upside. The downside is the inconsistent schedule. It's on demand. Like I said, it's not for certain people. There's a lot of cutthroat in it. You know, as far as is mostly the expectations of the customer. So sometimes the safety aspect of things can fall back. So it's kind of up to us as the pilots to make sure that stays in play too. So that would definitely be my biggest downside to that.
All right. So you followed a kind of roundabout route to get where you got. What would you attribute your ability to stay persistent and stay focused on?
Solely passion and dedication. When you really want something, I was also raised to never give up on my dreams, and my mom taught me very well. So I wasn't stopping until I got it. It was really weird. So.
Okay, Tori, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it, and I hope you students enjoyed meeting one of my former students.